Hey, what's up, guys? So my name's Hodeski. If you haven't viewed my channel before, I also stream on Twitch under the name Hody. So basically in this video, I'm just going to go through with you kind of how I progress through the game to where I am at the moment, and what I think kind of the best ways to do it are, and a few of them, maybe the mistakes that I think that I made that would be better if I had done it another way. So just to add a bit of credibility to it, so at the moment in the game, as you can see, I'm up to farming B9, super consistent. It wipes like once in a blue moon, like maybe 1 in 100. And I'm pretty high ranked in Arena. I don't know where I am at the moment, but I'll have a look and I'll show you. Let me just finish this run. I've just had this autoing while I was setting up my OBS. And that is not bad, actually. If that rolls into crit damage a couple times, that will be a nice rune. I will keep it and I will roll it later. Anyway, so pretty much with this video, I'm just going to show you kind of a few tips and tricks. I'm going to kind of breeze through the very early game content as quick as I can, while still kind of providing a little bit of insight into it, just because I think most people who are watching this will probably have passed that stage of the game, but I'll go through it anyway. So when you start off, you're going to be in the Singing Forest, which is the first stage of the game, and you're going to be offered an opportunity to summon 3 monsters, right? I think once you clear the second stage or the third stage in it. So it's going to prompt you to come over here, and you're going to be able to do 3 pulls. Now, after your third pull, you're going to get guaranteed nat 5. There's a lot that are really good. There's a few that are bad. There's tons of reroll guides out there. The best reroll guide I've seen is Vulcan Games' guide. So I'm just going to link that really quick. If you want a really detailed kind of how to reroll, what to reroll for, I think you should just go check that out, because there's no real point in me covering it. It's been done, and I figure most of you guys have probably passed that stage anyway. So once you've rerolled, you got yourself your nat 5. The units you're going to want to use, so is your Stealth Elf. You get your Stealth Elf for free when you start the game, your nat 5, and just a random other unit. It doesn't really matter what. The early game is catered to just let you pass through it super easy. You're not really going to hit any roadblocks yet. One of the first things I'd suggest doing as well is when you start the game, make sure you farm stage 7 3 times when you start, because you're going to get 2 Stealth Elves for every time you farm it. So all up you can get 6 Stealth Elves a day, and you can refresh it. I haven't done mine yet. I'll do it before reset. But anyways, so once you've cleared the first stage, you kind of want to just go through and progress through the part 1 quests, right? So do all these quests. You can see at the top left corner what you get from it. So you'll get almost 400 Stealth Elf pieces. You'll get a summon ticket. You get a bunch of scrolls, like gems, tons of good stuff, and they're all free. You shouldn't really have any trouble clearing that quest line, right? Maybe you might get stuck on the 7th stage, which is, I think, is the last quest in the line, which is this one. If you do, I'd suggest just going back to stage 3 and farming it on normal. So farming a stage on normal, you can get 2 to 4 star runes from it. And stage 3 drops strike runes, which are basically, they boost your attack by 25% when you have a set of 4 or more. So as long as you have 4 strike runes on your characters, they'll get a 25% attack bonus, which is a really nice boost for early game. So once you're done with the part 1 of the quest line, you're going to want to start working on part 2. Okay, so make sure you're doing your quests. They're super important. You get so many free rewards, and they kind of guide you where to go in the game. So when you start the part 2 quest line, you're going to get a nat 4 called Enigma, who's a really good support. I would recommend putting him into your team pretty much straight away, unless you have something else you're using that you prefer. So your team kind of at the moment, once you start part 2 of the quest line, should be your Stealth Elf, your Enigma, and 1 other unit, which will probably be your nat 5 that you rerolled with, right? Or maybe a different unit if you prefer that instead. So once you've started the part 2 quest line, again, go through that, try and clear as far into it as you can. You are going to hit a roadblock when you get to the stage 10. The boss stage on it is really difficult when you're starting off and you don't have the greatest rune quality. Basically, the goal is pretty much try and clear through as much of the scenario as you can and get to a stage in the game where you can go back to the first stage or the second stage and farm hard mode. Okay, so hard mode is really good. You get a ton of gold and you can drop up to 5-star runes. Now, 5-star runes are a lot better than 4-star runes. Just the innate stats on them for the main stat is huge. Okay, I don't know what the percentage, how much better it is than 4-star runes, but it's super noticeable. And like 6 5-star runes are worth breaking your strike set for. Okay, you'll get way more value out of them. Now, once you've got 5-star runes on, I'd say all the important slots, so 1, 2, and 6, and if you're still struggling, you can go back and do 2, you can do 4, 5, and 3. You want to move into farming B7. Now, B7 isn't hard. B7 is pretty much the highest you can go, where you can kind of get away with any kind of makeshift team. As long as you're not taking monsters in that have elemental disadvantage, you shouldn't have any problems with B7 at all. Okay, so a good example of the team I used to clear B7 at the start was Stormblade, Enigma, and Buckshot. When the game first launched, the life dungeon wasn't out, and it was a weekend, so it wasn't out for like 3 days, so I couldn't power up my stealth elf because you needed the life essences to do so, so I just used Buckshot instead. But I have maxed my elf out since then, okay? So you can just use Enigma, elf, +1, which will probably be in at 5. Once you can clear B7 pretty consistently, even if it's about 80-90% when you start, that's fine. You're going to get upgrades as you do B7. So do B7, get some better rune quality, and then there's a few choices of what you can do in the game. So after I cleared B7, what I did is I went to stage 9 and I farmed Wham Shell. Okay, on easy mode. I regret this. I don't think it was the right way to do things, but still it worked for me. So if you want to do it that way, it can work for you as well. Another option is Kaboom. I do not recommend farming Kaboom on normal this early in the game. I think it is a waste of resources. He won't help you in B8. He can speed runs up in B9, but he's not crucial for B9. What he's really good for is the tower, the Mirage Tower, and for PvP. Okay, which I haven't got a Kaboom built on my account yet, and I can beat the people in Arena that are the top 10 ranks, and I've cleared Mirage Tower without any problems. I cleared it last month, it reset yet today, and I've cleared it today as well, the whole thing, without Kaboom. So you don't need Kaboom. I am working on a Kaboom. I will need him for B10, so I'm going to go and farm him eventually. But just to give you a look, right, so I've never farmed any Kaboom at all. I haven't run his stage ever, basically, apart from some strike runes when I first started the game. At the moment, he's 4-starred +5, and I have 253 pieces of him. So I'm more than pretty much half the way of doing Kaboom, the Kaboom grind, and I've never touched him. So that is all just from Wishstone summons. So I'm sitting on like 13k at the moment. You get them so consistently. And this is kind of a reason why I think Wham Shell shouldn't be a priority right after you finish B7. So instead, what I'd suggest doing is moving to stage 6 on normal mode. Now, depending on your RNG and what kind of runes your stealth elf has, or your nat 5. So if you're using a nat 5 that can farm this stage, for example Stormblade, if you have good enough rune quality, he can farm it very quickly. If you don't, you might want to use your stealth elf instead. It will be slower but a lot more reliable because he has elemental advantage. And you can work on Boomer. Now, Boomer is a crucial unit. You need to build a Boomer, okay? I did not use Boomer to do B8 initially, but if I had farmed Boomer first, it would have made my B8 runs much easier, much faster, and much more consistent going on. And the thing is, you're going to need to farm Boomer at some stage of the game anyway, so for B9, he is absolutely essential. I don't want to say you can't do it without him. I'm sure there are teams that you can do to clear B9 without Boomer, but is it really worth it? You know, Boomer, he's just so good at it. He's good in other places. He's great in PvP. He's a great farmer. Just build a Boomer. It's a long grind, but it's super worth it, right? So start on the Boomer grind. Work on him. So basically what Boomer does, so the 2 skills you'll be using is Dynamite Toss. I've skilled mine up twice for the reduced cooldown, and you're going to be using Troll Bomb Boot. So the Troll Bomb Boot is basically a single target nuke that has an 80% chance to gain attack up to all allies for 1 turn. It does skill up quite nicely actually. I'm not going to skill it up because I'm not going to use him in B10, and I want to save my skill ups primarily to go into B10. And this is just basically an AoE bomb. So it does damage AoE and applies a bomb. And he has super good base stats, right? So he's very, maybe not easy to rune, but he's not hard to rune. He's a lot easier to rune than a Kaboom, for example, because Kaboom's a nat 2, his base stats are quite a bit lower. You'd have to have significantly higher rune quality to get the same stats on Kaboom as I have on my Boomer at the moment. Right, so once you farm Boomer, I'd recommend trying to get into B8. So using Boomer, Stealth Elf, and +1. Now the +1 is your choice. I personally use Super Shot Stealth Elf. When I did it, she wasn't 6-starred and Awakened. She was 5-starred, I think, +3. She works great. Don't really copy those runes. They're just filler runes I put on them to try out a little bit. My main like crit runes at the moment are on my Starcast because I pulled him recently and I've been playing around with him. But yeah, Super Shot, Stealth Elf, Boomer will clear B8, no troubles as long as your rune quality is kind of average. Now once you're in B8, I'd suggest farming the crap out of it for. It depends really on your luck, right? So you could be a day or two of farming B8, it could be a week of farming B8. Depends on the quality of the runes you get. Ideally what you're looking for is a slot 2 and a slot 6 attack percentage rune for Boomer to move into B9, and some nice defense runes for slots 2, 4, 6, and a HP to kind of fill one of them out for your Wham Shell for B9. Now, just a side note as well, when I started on B9, my Boomer had 5-star runes on both these slots, so you don't need 6-star runes, but they make it way more consistent and way more easy. Okay, so once you've finished with your B8 grind, you're going to have to go and work on Wham Shell now. So Wham Shell's a pain in the ass as well, takes basically just as long as Boomer, but because you did Boomer first, you will have amassed a lot of Wish Stones. Now, with those Wish Stones, basically what I'd suggest doing is just don't use them in the magic shop. Summon them. You'll probably have around 100 plus Wham pieces, maybe more if you've gotten lucky and you've pulled in from other things. And hopefully that'll knock, some chunk of hours off your grind. Now, once you have your Wham at 6-star awakened, you have your Boomer at 6-star awakened, you're almost ready for B9, okay? What you're going to want to do as well is start farming Broccoli Guy. Now, Broccoli Guy, the best place to farm him is on hard mode on stage 2. You drop tons of him. So mine's maxed and I'm sitting on like 600 shards, right? Because I'm doing the Igniter grind as well. Broccoli Guy, super core. I'd suggest maxing him out if you can before going into B9. If you can't, it's not that big of an issue. I did mine when it was level 60, but it will help so much. So a good team to kind of break into B9 after this stage is Stealth Elf, Boomer, pardon me, so I'm a bit chesty, and Wham Shell. Now, my elf isn't ruined, so I'm not going to use my elf for this thing, but I've already done a B9 video in the past. Now, just a little side note as well, something a lot of people don't know. The actual order that you place your monsters in affects which one the boss prioritizes to attack. Okay, so if you position your Wham Shell in the rightmost slot, the boss will focus Wham Shell over Boomer in the majority of the situations. Of course, if Boomer cops the defense break and Wham doesn't, the boss will still prioritize Boomer over Wham. But if neither monster is defense broken, the boss will in 90% of the cases go for Wham Shell, which is really important. So if you're struggling, if you're finding your Boomers dying too early, try and switch up the position of them in the edit screen before the match and see if that helps at all. The same thing applies for Mirage Tower and a lot of other content in the game. I know a lot of people don't know about it. It was kind of a little hush-hush in our guild for a while, but one of the guys who was one of the people who actually discovered it, I saw him talking about it on his own stream yesterday. So his name's Gondo. I'll link his Twitch in the description as well. He's great. He's doing B10. He's probably progressed the furthest in the game so far. So yeah, he was talking about it yesterday, so I figured there should be no dramas in sharing it, right? Now, once you can farm B9, when you start, it's going to be inconsistent, okay? Unless you've got super good RNG from B8, your runs are going to be you're going to wipe a lot. So don't be too disheartened. If you can get above a 50% success rate, I'd recommend continuing to farm B9. Just the rates are so much better than B8. Okay, B8 rates are absolute shit. Well, at least for me, they were. B9 was so much better. Okay, so you can see from this run, it's pretty consistent. We've almost got it. And you see, just from that, even though Wham has elemental advantage, the boss targeted Wham over the Smolder Dash because of the position of where they are on the map. So on the actual stage. So that's a little tip there, a little hush-hush tip that you saw as well. So I think that's a little bit of an Easter egg they put in the game. I'm really glad I found it out. It helps a ton. Alright, so we are going to sell that. We do not want it. I know I probably heard a lot of the newer players watching me sell 5-star runes, but no good at the moment. So anyway, I want to make this as short or sweet as possible. Just kind of give you a look of how I did progression, what I kind of would have changed. If you have any questions about it, feel free to message me. I'll reply to everyone. I have no problem doing that. You can message me in game, on YouTube. I stream a lot, so you can come and ask on there if you like as well. Anything's fine. So I'll kind of leave it here. I know there's a lot of stuff that I didn't cover, but I just tried to cover the very basic core progression line. If you want kind of a video, I guess, that goes more in depth into kind of like B8, B9, B7, things like that, that's something I'd be happy to do. You guys just need to let me know, and, you know, it's no dramas. Anyway, I will see you guys later, and if you stuck around till the end, I really appreciate it. Alright, see you guys, take care, and next time. Oh my god, that didn't make sense. And I'll see you next time. I should really write a script for these, like, this is shocking. Oh my god. Anyway, now I'm just rambling. Ciao.